You know, it was one of those things where everything just lined up perfectly. You know, people responded so well to her, you know, as a being. You know, she's a very unique and a very powerful presence, obviously, in addition to having, you know, the musical sort of inspiration that she does. And when those things all align, you get, you know, sort of the perfect storm. And it ended up selling, you know, millions and millions of records. And obviously now she's a major headlining live act. And that happened really, as you said, in the course of a very short time since the last time we spoke. You know, the label and management and you know, all came together around the idea that we would take a very slow approach. I mean, it seems probably that could happen fast, but we went to AAA format first, very deliberately, to, you know, because we probably, with that record, Royals being so magical, we probably could have gone straight to top, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to let the record get out there in a very organic way, and the AAA format was perfect for that. Then we went to alternative, and I think, you know, that was it was an amazing thing, because alternative radio, you know, is not really a format that embraces female artists on a regular basis. So, you know, typically when you look at the end of the year at the charts on alternative radio, maybe one or two of the top 50 artists will be female artists. So, you know, the top 50 of the year. So it was, I guess it really stuck out, you know, as sort of juxtaposition is a powerful thing too, right? So, and then when, you know, it got so big off those formats that, you know, pop stations were all starting to call us and say, hey, like, we want to go, you know, which never happens, right? It's always a push thing on our end. In this case, it's almost like a pull. So, and then of course team, and, you know, and then people got into the body of the record, and which is sort of like goes back to when we were younger, Steve, right? When, you know, people would actually buy albums and you get into it, and sometimes you really could get into the artist and their vision. In this case, that's what people did, and then they found out that there was a whole body of work that was so beautiful. So, yeah, it was really the perfect storm. That song, Royals, wound up going #1 at 7 formats.
You know, so often when people are trying to connect with the business from wherever they might be connecting, it's difficult to do. She, you know, was in New Zealand. Yeah. How did you connect with LORDE?
Well, I actually have the email in my office framed. You know, it was just one of those things. I was just going through my inbox one day and listening to stuff that people sent me, and you know, I happened to get an email with the subject line was "hot shit," and it was from somebody I respected, a music supervisor named Natalia Romashevsky, and she used to send me stuff, you know, time to time. And you know, typically I would just, you know, write back and say, oh, no, it's not for me, whatever. And so she wrote, the subject line was "hot shit," and it just said "unsigned New Zealand female, listen," and then it had a link to the SoundCloud, which only had 200 plays at that time. And then and on the bottom she wrote a little disclaimer. She doesn't like this to me to tell this, but, you know, it said, not sure if this is your thing, but, you know, check it out. And so so I listened to it once, and, you know, it was Royals and, you know, 4 other songs, Love Club, and I just listened, and I called her up and I said, what the fuck is this? And she said, I don't know, I just got it from a friend of mine overseas, and, you know, I don't even know anything about it, I just liked it. So, you know, we found her, we found LORDE, her name's Ella, obviously. We found her email address on Facebook, and I emailed her directly, and next thing I know, I was on the phone with her parents and her manager, and, you know, we made a deal. And, you know, it's a very happy memory. So like I said, now I have that email framed in my office and autographed by Ella, and it's really a nice sort of a memento of a great moment.